watching Morning at NTV.
Welcome back. Thank you for making us the #1 breakfast show right here in Uganda. We are headed into our next conversation of the day, the Tech Not conversation. We're going to be taking a look at insurance coverage for all. I'm talking about all Ugandans who are not insured. Now, the conversation in Uganda is about social protection for all. Insurance companies are being asked to play their part, but the conversation is on how best we can achieve insurance and a social protection for all. What can be done? That's the main question right there, the $64,000 question. In studio we have Mr. Sol Seremba, the CEO of the Insurance Institute of Uganda, to break this down. Now, the Insurance Institute of Uganda is tasked with training of professionals right there who deal with insurance. I'm talking about the agents, not only the agents, the teachers, the doctors. If you're somewhere there and you need some insurance literacy, the Insurance Institute of Uganda will be right there to help, but they are also regulated by the Insurance Regulatory Authority, which is manned by government in that regard. So we have the CEO of the Insurance Institute of Uganda right here in the studios, Mr. Sol Seremba, to help us dissect and understand more about insurance coverage in Uganda. Please, welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So, Mr. Sol Seremba, first, where does Uganda stand in terms of insurance coverage? What are the numbers?
Thank you, and good morning, our viewers. From the Insurance Institute of Uganda. When you look at insurance, Uganda is not doing very well in terms of penetration.
What could be the problem?
When we are measuring how you're faring in terms of insurance, we use what we call penetration. And penetration, we compare what we've collected to the GDP of the country. Now, Uganda, our insurance penetration is just 0.8%.
0.8%. That's pretty much very low.
It is low. But for us, we look at it as an opportunity. There's a lot of people out there that have not been served by insurance. If we are at 0.8%, that means we have an opportunity of over 99%.
But why are the numbers this low?
Incidentally, when you look at the penetration, it may cloud your judgment. But I'll tell you that last year we collected over 700 billion in
premiums.
Exactly.
Okay.
But you see, when you compare your premiums to the GDP, as GDP increases, so the penetration will definitely remain low. But that is not an excuse. There are countries like South Africa where the penetration is way above 15%. Kenya here, it's above 2%.
But
in Uganda,
in South Africa, it's an isolated case because we are talking about majority of the people who are covered could be the white minority farmers.
Sure.
So that could be the reason why the penetration is high.
Exactly.
Okay,
but I'm coming to Kenya here, where we have about 2.5%.
2.5, yeah.
That is pretty good. Namibia, etc. Now, but the challenges that we face in Uganda are similar to those in Kenya.
African problems.
And other African countries. You will find that insurance is a technical subject. Many people do not understand it. And you see, we've had a historical problem of perception. People think insurance is for the rich. People think insurance is for is a luxury.
Isn't it for the rich?
Not really. When you look at yourself, the moment you're born, you face risks in life.
Right.
And that's it. Insurance comes to shield you against these risks. Now, actually, the poor man needs insurance more than the rich man.
I'm looking at the poor man whose risk is missing that lunch appointment, missing that dinner appointment, and they can't afford the premium at the end of the year.
The risk is actually much bigger. Let me give you two scenarios. Let me use one of the gentlemen here called BMK, the owner of Africana.
Yes.
If BMK, one of his cars got an accident, it won't affect him so much. You get my point? Why? Because he has different assets that can push him. But look at this guy with his border, where he gets lively for his family. In case anything happened, if he was driving that border and that border got an accident, that is the end of him. So of the two, who needs protection? Definitely this border guy. And to make matters worse, if he was involved in that accident and he was taken to Mulago, the legs are put up, what happens? The family will have to suffer because of the consequences of the accident. So this is what we tell people, that you see, you need insurance more than the rich. The perception that it is the rich that need insurance. Someone buys a very nice car, and when they buy the car, they come and insure it immediately because they feel they have a high net worth asset. But they forget that if that asset is to get an accident, there must be someone driving it. Do you get my point?
Yes, I get your point.
Yes, there must be someone. But the point is, I must insure my car. So that is the asset they are looking at. What about this life that may be lost in the process of driving this car? So we are trying to engage the public to appreciate that insurance is a basic need, it is part of us, and they should insure, not because it is a luxury, but to shield them from the different risks. I'll tell you, everything that we do, there is a risk bit of it.
Yes.
There is death, there is sickness, there are accidents, robbers, etc. Think about anything. As we are sitting here, the building can collapse.
So when it comes to insurance, we're not only talking about motorists, even individuals.
No, exactly.
Yes.
Life insurance, everything. So insurance basically shields you against the risk that you may face at any given time. Yes.
And there have been some cases where people have been saying that when it comes to payment, insurance companies are adamant to fulfill their end of the bargain. When it comes to asking you to pay your premium, year after year, they'll be on your neck. Hey, brother, it's the end of the year. You haven't paid your premium. So I'm looking at this person consistently paying their premium. But then at the end of the day, when they get there to claim their money, they're turned down. Why are we seeing so many of such cases?
Let me tackle that in two ways. One, let me start from your end as the client. I will appreciate that maybe some time back, we had some insurers who never wanted to pay, and that in a way affected the perception of the public. That happened. But I can tell you that that is normal. Today the regulator has streamlined the market. There is even a complaints bureau to handle all complaints relating to insurance. So this is to assist members. Those of you who have issues with any insurer, you just have to go to the Insurance Regulatory Authority. They have a bureau and they will assist you. So that is not a problem. But also, you must appreciate that if you've had an accident or if you're in some sort of situation and someone tells you to bring a few things, they are not things that are so nice to you. If you have an accident, you want money, you want to be paid, you want your car on the road, you want medical, or if you've lost someone and you have an insurance cover, you want to be paid so that you can. But you see, the insurer also needs to be sure that the claim he's making is true. He needs to be sure that the amount he's going to pay you is in line, is commensurate with the loss that you've suffered. So those are the things. So when they ask you for, please give us a police report or give us a death certificate, could you also please provide proof of this? Now, those are things that people don't want to hear. And at the end of the day, they will say, now these guys are just playing about, they don't want to pay. But it is a procedure, it's a contract. We need to be sure that, you see, we are making the right. I can tell you that research shows that many of the claims that we pay are fictitious. People have, forged a few things. We've had people who even steal their cars. They go, they sell it, and they come to claim. We've had people who have arranged accidents and they come to claim. So we want to be sure that by the time we pay, we are paying for loss that has happened. Yes.
So in case you realize that maybe this client just staged his own maybe robbery, what happens to them? Do you just give them a warning? Do you cancel their insurance cover? What happens?
There are several options. Depending on the act, because there may be some fraud. Sometimes they don't know. Someone does something not knowing that what they're doing is actually fraud. So we look at the different scenarios. That's why we have people in the insurance sector called the loss adjusters, assessors, risk managers, to assist us in looking at that particular claim and advise accordingly. Yes.
So now let's take a look at why do we still have issues around payment? Why do we still have issues around payment?
I think that has been sorted. Actually, the regulator has even given the insurers timelines.
I understand in 2018 you dished out like 280 billion shillings.
We have. You see, these are.
But then there are still issues around.
These are things that people rarely get to know about. Last year alone, we paid over 200 billion shillings in claims. People came to claim 200 billion.
Maybe these people who are arguing about the payments just don't know who is ineligible to get a claim in the event that there is an accident or anything. Who is ineligible to get paid?
I wouldn't look at the ineligible.
Let's take a look at the scenario where, okay, an accident happens, maybe I'm under the influence, that person is ineligible to be paid. So what are some of the other people who are ineligible to be paid, just in case?
When you come for an insurance contract, there are terms and conditions. They are what we call exclusions. Just like any other policy, we say we are going to cover this, but we shall not cover this. You see? And these conditions vary from one policy to another. I'll give you one. You come to us, you say, I want a cover for my house. There's what we call domestic package. I want my house covered under the domestic package. So whether thieves attack, whether fire, whether anything that happens. But we shall say, we are going to cover you. But please, under this cover, you should not keep probably fuels, maybe petrol in your house in case anything happens, because that will definitely increase the risk. Do you get my point? We are going to cover you, but we don't expect you to leave the house open all the times because you're covered.
So you have to exercise some
care,
kind of
due
caution.
care, exactly. Yes. So those are the things. When an accident happens, we want to make sure, did you play your part in this contract? Okay, so but these conditions vary from one policy to another. When you look at fire, they're different from motor, life, all these are different.
Now let's take a look at who is covered. Now over the weekend, that is Saturday, I was in Munyonyo at the goat race. As I was leaving, something very, very unscrupulous happened. Now this guy was driving really, really fast. This was the account of the border rider. He was telling me a girl was leaving a church to go home. She crossed the road. Now as she was crossing, she realized she had left her keys at the church. So she reverted back in the opposite direction. Now, someone was speeding from the goat race, intoxicated a little bit, so they were hurrying to their next hangout. And then, bam, rammed into this car. The girl died on the spot, just like that.
Sorry.
It was very, very unfortunate. Now, I'm looking at this scenario. Who is covered? Would the insurance cover the driver who was under the influence, and would the insurance cover the victim? Yes.
Okay. There are two scenarios. One, what cover did this driver have? Because definitely the driver is responsible to start with. But if he had a third party, because that is the lowest, that is the minimum cover that you can have, third party insurance. If he had a third party shields you against liabilities due to third parties. So this driver hitting this person, he's liable. If he has a third party, it will cater for that.
For the victim.
For the victim, but not for the car. Because third party, the idea was to make sure that as you enjoy the use of your car, when you injure other parties, they are catered for. So third party caters for that. The only challenge with our third party, but it is under review, the maximum paid under third party is still limited. They will pay up to a maximum of 1 million. But you see third party, how much do you pay per year? I think about 70,000 or 60,000. But we can pay up to 1 million in a particular accident. But if this person was insured comprehensively, the other victim is catered for. Your car is also catered for. If you also had, injuries, they are catered for. That is how good it is. If you hit someone else's car or property, they are catered for. I had a small accident just a few weeks ago, and all I did was to call my insurers. They assessed, they paid the other person, they arranged, they repaired mine, and I'm back on the road.
So in this case, the insurance company would also, now this guy that hit the lady,
yes,
even though they were under the influence, insurance company would still cater for them.
For third party, they will have to pay.
No. The driver themselves. The person who was driving behind the wheel, would they be covered still?
That will depend on the circumstances, because we don't know at what level, because
the level was high. Because I realized one thing, because even, by the way, drinking and then driving, please do not drink and drive. At the gate, as we were just coming out of Munyonyo, something really bad happened.
Sure.
So this lady was walking, and she just hitched the car to give her a ride to the city, and then the driver stopped. They were talking, and then another car came from behind and stood from behind, just from the gate from Munyonyo. You could really see that this car is still in one position, and you would think that the driver behind would see this car just in a stationary position, but then this lady just hit the pedal and just rammed into the lady. Boom. Into the car.
Sure.
So it got me thinking, driving under the influence is a very, very, very huge factor when it comes to accidents.
Sure.
Because you don't do it intentionally. I think that it's an inadvertent action, and you do it inadvertently.
Exactly.
Like you want to slow down, but you end up accelerating. So she hit the other lady, and then bam, there was traffic for over 2 hours.
Sure.
So that was the case right there. So let's just leave that alone. Let's now go back to the rural areas.
Sure.
Let's leave the goat race. Let's go to the rural area. I'm looking at that farmer in Buyukwe. I've planted my crops very well. Then the season of rain comes in, washes away everything. I do not have insurance. What advice would you have for them so that next time they are protected?
Okay. You, as the Insurance Institute, you see, maybe I never brought it in the introduction, but our role is basically to promote professionalism. And this we do by skilling our members. The members of the Insurance Institute are the insurers, brokers, agents, loss assessors, HMOs. We are now talking about the banks that offer bank assurance. All these are our
But you
members.
also train individuals,
But
like
also,
farmers.
we go out, because it is our duty, we go out to increase awareness into the different blocks. We talk of the teachers, we talk of the farmers, we talk of the traders, we talk of the motorists, we talk of the lawyers, accountants. We do train them for them to appreciate the different insurance covers and what is probably appropriate for them. Now, when you talk of the farmers, you see, it is one area. Most of the people in this country are engaged in farming. The risks that are involved in agriculture are very, very high, because climate,
Unforeseen circumstances.
a lot.
And the funny thing is, they do not know that they can actually be bankrolled in the event that a calamity happens, the crops are destroyed, animal husbandry gone, that they could be bankrolled by an insurance company. How best can we help these people? So, is it an issue with insurance literacy?
No, not really. A few years ago,
Yeah.
an agricultural consortium was put in place to assist in the rolling out of this agriculture insurance. And the government injected in money to subsidize farmers who want to access insurance. So this, in a way, assists the farmers because insurance was made affordable. But many of them definitely are not aware of this. So it is a concerted effort which we are doing with IRA, UIA, the Agriculture Consortium. We train farmers, we talk to them, we engage agriculture and extension workers so that they can appreciate and they assist their farmers to buy agriculture insurance. And it has paid off. I think when you look at the records, about 100,000 farmers now have acquired insurance through the Agriculture Consortium. The numbers are increasing day by day.
Owed to insurance literacy.
We believe with probably in the next 5 years, we shall have more farmers appreciating and buying insurance.
So besides farmers, teachers, doctors, you're also in charge of training professional agents and other people in the industry.
Exactly.
Are you sending us professionals? Are they selling things they understand?
Oh yes. The institute started in 1964. Though prominence came in around 2011, 2012. And the institute got its license from National Council for Education in 2014. That is when we started running our own programs. So we have the entry-level program, which is the Certificate of Proficiency, and we are happy that the regulator made it mandatory for all agents to have a COP before they go to the market. The idea was to make sure that before this person goes to the market, they understand insurance in and out. So all insurance agents must go through this program. Without this program, you cannot go to the market.
Without this program, you cannot go to the market.
Exactly.
Now, in my case, I joined the Insurance Company of East Africa in 2011, around May.
Yes.
I was active 2011 up to 2016. Then I went inactive a bit. So you're telling me for me to get back into insurance, I would have to first go through the Insurance Institute of Uganda?
No. As an agent?
Yes.
Oh, you didn't.
I was an agent, but I went inactive after 2016.
Oh, you did not have this professional qualification?
I didn't go through the Insurance Institute of Uganda.
Now you can't be licensed without.
I would have to first go through.
Exactly.
Right.
So you have to be. We have to make sure that you have the required skills. Then we can license you. IRA can license.
How long does it take?
We have two types. We have the intensive one for 2 weeks, and then the long one for about 2.5 months.
It's doable. It's very doable. I believe.
Very much.
It's very doable. So
But
if
also,
you're an agent right there, yes.
But also, in addition to the COP, you'll find that we have the diploma in insurance and certificate in insurance. These are high-level programs, and we are working with the regulator to make sure that even managers at other levels, we are coming up with a qualification framework for managers at other levels to ensure that they have the qualification, the professional qualification.
So you've heard it from Mr. Saul Seremba, the CEO of Insurance Institute of Uganda. If you're an agent right there and you would like to just join insurance as an agent, just go to the Insurance Institute of Uganda. 2 weeks orientation. Almost. To me, it's more like orientation for those 2 weeks or 2 months, and just get qualified with the skills and requisite skills right there and head into insurance and get some money in that regard. Help people right there. To me, it's more like public service, helping people out there, especially our farmers in rural areas and other people who are disadvantaged. Now, Mr. Saul Seremba, we are still having this bumper for the next 2 minutes. We are wrapping up. You have an event coming up, the International Insurance Conference. It's selected between Thursday and Friday this week. Tell us about it. How does Uganda benefit?
Thank you. The conference is the first international insurance conference that we're organizing as the Insurance Institute of Uganda. And the theme is the role of inclusive insurance in delivering the social protection agenda. We realize that with this penetration of 0.8, what is wrong? Probably there is a group of people out there who are not served or who are underserved. So the discussions in this particular conference are geared towards that. We want to deliberate on how we can further insurance, how we can engage, how we can bring those people on board. And that is the theme of the conference. This conference is on Thursday this week and Friday. And the guest of honor is Right Honorable Jacob Olanya, the Deputy Speaker of Uganda.
How will it help with the growth of the industry?
We believe that when we bring these people on board, definitely we shall up the penetration. Remember, there are these people in agriculture, people in microinsurance. these are the people we are going to be bringing on board. We want to see how we can use ICTs in upping insurance.
Wonderful. Now, I think we have to wrap up. Now, in 40 seconds, could you just let my viewer right there who is watching at home know some of the insurance products they could look out for or go for in this regard?
One, I want to encourage the public to embrace insurance. Insurance is for us all. The risks are there, they are real, and we are here to assist you to manage your risks.
Break down like 5 policies.
We have life. Life, I think, is critical in our because there are people that we take care of. So life, talk of fire policies, talk of motor insurance, talk of securing our homes under the domestic packages, talk of public liability. Everything that we do, we may injure people that interact with us. These are all policies that we can take on.
Awesome. So, Seremba, the CEO of Insurance Institute of Uganda, the banter is about insurance coverage for all Ugandans, and he's saying it's not only the motorists, even you, an individual, if you'd like to protect your family or your house, your property, go for insurance in that regard. My name is Romy Busiko, and you're still watching Morning at NTV. The next banter will be about code for our kids. That is coming up after this break.
Thank you.